Hello! Welcome to another Writerly Witterings with me, strange writing fellow. Cheers! Some years ago, when I was doing research down at the Devon and Exeter Institution, I had real problems because I was always using cartridge converter pens like my Conway Stewart's, which I love, and cross pens and various other types. And I used to find that, especially when I was using one of my broad nibs, I could only write about 6 or 7 pages before the cartridge converter ran out of ink, because Conway Stewart's always tended to be gushers. And that was really quite difficult, because I didn't want to have to carry a whole bottle of ink with me wherever I went, because such bottles can work out quite heavy. So I thought, what can I do that will save me having to carry an entire load like that around? And while hunting through the internet, I found these fantastic things called travelling inkwells, of which this is one type. You can see it's made by Visconti, and the idea is you get a nice box with it, and in the box, as well as your inkwell, you get a dropper, and you dip the eyedropper into the bottle of ink and squirt it into the bottle. If you've got those small size tester bottles, then of course you just tip it straight in. I wouldn't recommend trying to tip in from a diamine large size bottle because you get ink everywhere. But the idea is you put ink into your inkwell, and then when you're out and about, you take off the cap, you get your fountain pen, whatever it might be, stick it in, turn it up the other way, fill your pen, put it back down, and you're ready to go. Very simple design. What's really neat about it is that in the very top here, I don't know if you can see that where you are, but there is a cone shaped feeder, so that not only can you fill good sized pens like my Visconti's, it'll take any size of pen, even a nice lightweight Kaweco will fit in, and it'll make a seal with that cone shaped rubber bung at the top. Simple design, really effective though, and an absolute delight to use while out and about. Especially since with this style, you fill your pen, you put the lid back on, and then in here you've got a nice little felt swatch so that you can clean your nib as well. Isn't that neat? I love that sort of thing. Now, not only is this really convenient for carrying around, it also has an alternative use. If you're using a standard cartridge converter pen or something like this TWSBI, which has a piston, you just stick this into the travelling inkwell, like so, and then turn it upside down, and as you rotate the end cap, you'll suck up ink into the hole of the barrel. Nice and straightforward. But where it really comes into its own is using things like vacuum filling pens. Now, a vacuum pen like this is a very straightforward design, but it's ingenious, I think. I love them. There's several manufacturers of these. TWSBI make their own vacuum fillers. Visconti are quite big on the vacuum fillers. This is a Visconti Homo sapiens, and it has inside here, rather like this has a parallel sided cylinder, so that you, as you turn this, as you turn the end knob, the piston is sent up and down this parallel sided cylinder, and because it's parallel sided it's constantly got a seal, so you can suck ink up if you want to. Power fillers are similar to that. They have the same parallel sided cylinder, but at the bottom here there's a flare. And what happens is that as you pull this out, it's moving a piston like this up the barrel to the top. When you push it back down, you're pushing the piston down again. Now with a Twisby like this, or a Pelican or any of the others that works on this sort of basis, what happens is as the piston gets to the bottom, you've evacuated all the air or all the ink, and then as you turn it back the other way, it sucks ink into all of that rather large, delightful reservoir. With these, although you can't see it, there is a similar piston. As you press down, the piston's going down, but there's nothing behind it. So what it's doing is generating a vacuum behind the piston. And when it comes down to the bottom and meets the flare, all of a sudden the vacuum's released and ink is sucked up into the barrel. Beautifully elegant, simple design. I really love these pens because they do have massive reservoirs. But a problem that a lot of people complain about is you can never actually fill the whole of the reservoir. Even such great pen heroes as SBRE Brown reckon that these aren't too good because they may have a big reservoir but you can't fill it, so you only ever get about half a fill. Well, there's a way around that using one of these ingenious little travelling inkwells. I'm going to use a different pen here because with this, hopefully you can see, there are two reservoirs, two viewing areas that you can look through. So here's one clear acrylic reservoir, and then there is a slot cut in the side of this pen up here so that you can see what the ink level is in the barrel of the pen itself. So what I'm going to do is demonstrate filling this so that you can see how it's done with a different type of Visconti. This is one I bought many years ago now, and I still rather like it. It's got lovely metal cover with a little bit of engraving on it saying Visconti and so on, and at the end cap it's got the Visconti logo. It's got rather nice brown plastic. It's only plastic, but it is nice quality plastic around it. Now I filled this inkwell earlier on just so I didn't have to do it because it takes a little bit of time to use an eyedropper to fill it. Here we have a Visconti. I'm going to stick it into the barrel. There you go, you can see the nib just protruding down there. And now unscrew it, pull out the plunger, turn it up the other way and push the plunger in. There's a little click as the vacuum operates, and now in here I hope you can see that the ink level is about there, which is not terribly high, not compared to the rest of the reservoir that there is in this pen. So what I'm going to do now is do exactly the same thing again. First of all, pull up that, sitting down there, and just push, give it a second, and now when I look, there is no air in that. The whole of the reservoir is now completely full. I don't know how easy that is for the camera to pick up, but there is nothing in terms of air. That is absolutely completely full. So now you just screw down the cap, retrieve your pen from the inkwell, put the lid on the inkwell before you get ink everywhere, and then just clean the end. And now I have a fully filled pen. Now that filling got me 2 little bits of ink on my fingers, but as you can see it is pretty minor in terms of the damage potential. So, travelling inkwells, here we go, 2 different types. I tend to find that when I'm out and about, I'll have my 2 pen case, I'll have 1 fountain pen fully filled, 1 travelling inkwell. That's enough there to keep me working for about a week. That's a huge amount of ink in those 2. 2 types of inkwell. My own personal favourite is this one, probably purely because I've had it for longest. I actually wanted to buy this one because I do like the idea of being able to clean your nib with that little swatch of felt. But it's not quite as elegant. I don't think it's quite as nice looking, so I stick to this one generally, which I think is a beautiful little piece of kit. What do I like about these 2 things? I love the fact that I can carry them around and I can fill any pen that I've got on me with great ease. There's one thing I'm not so happy about, and that's the price of them. Because these things are, I checked this morning, currently £43 each. £43 for this, which is a piece of plastic with some nice writing on it. It's got a level, it says don't go beyond this level. It's got your secondary cap with a swatch of felt. £43. This doesn't even have the swatch of felt. It has got a nice metal tube, it has got lovely engraving. £43. That's a lot of money. £43 is 2 of those enormous Ackerman ink bottles from their special editions. It's an awful lot of diamine ink. However, it is also an enormously useful tool. Is it worth £43? I'm not too sure. I happened to have some spare funds at the time and it seemed to make sense, so I bought it then. Whether I could justify it now, I don't know. But certainly they are used all the time. If I want to fill my vacuum pens to the absolute maximum, then I always use these because it's much more efficient than trying to fill them from a bottle, which, as you saw, the first fill you only get a certain amount. Even if you did a second fill with an ordinary bottle, you wouldn't get it any more full than that. So filling a vacuum pen is much more effective with these things. Whether they're worth that much money is a different matter. However, I like pens, I like inks, and these things make using pens much more efficient, so I'm gonna go with it. I can thoroughly recommend them if you want something that will fill your vacuum pen for a bit longer. It's easier to fill one of these and take it with you on a journey than to carry a large bottle that is glass and may break. So I can recommend it from that point of view. And what else can you say about them, really? Very, very good design, very neat. They're certainly luxury items, but then Visconti pens are too, so I can't really complain about that, can I? And there you have it, the Visconti travelling inkwell. Comes in a neat little box, and that's about it. So, thank you very much for watching. If you've got any questions, do please put them in the comments section down below. If you've got ideas for other films I could make, please put them in the comments section as well. Don't forget to hit the like button because it helps. And if you really enjoy it, hit the subscribe button too. They're all down there, you can find them. And apart from that, if you're interested in other items, then look up here. There's a few links to things that could be of interest. And I'll look forward to seeing you again soon. One thing I must mention, it's coming up to Christmas. I have a number of Fields of Glory and Blood on the Sand. I've also got 1 or 2 left of A Missing Murder, the current Tudor series. So do please get in contact if you'd like any of them. For now, thanks very much and see you soon. Bye.